Well, 5 years after Hurricane Katrina, filmmaker Spike Lee returned to New Orleans to make his latest documentary, and it all changed on April 20th with the BP oil spill. Spike Lee joins us now to talk about all of it. Thanks for being here.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
Going back to New Orleans 5 years later, even before the oil spill,
right.
Looking at the economic impact to the city, what was it, what you first saw, and post the BP spill? Tell us what you saw.
Well, our first day of filming was in Miami at the Super Bowl.
Good day for New Orleans.
Great day, and it was in the middle of Mardi Gras, so people were elevated after being down so long, after being hit with Katrina, the breach in the levees. People felt that we're on our way back, we're getting a break here. Mm-hmm. And then it all changed on April 20th. So even before the BP spill, the city is still not recovered, I would say, all the way back as far as economics goes. But people knew it was going to take 10, 15 years. But this BP thing is just, it's another knockout punch. And 40% of the United States seafood comes from this area. Mm-hmm. And you have thousands and thousands of fishermen, shrimpers. That's all they've done. That's all the fathers did. That's all the grandparents did. And you got the all the industries that feed off
of that.
Off of that, and people are hurting.
Your new film, it's called If God Is Willing and a Creek Don't Rise. You said that comes from a saying your grandmother told you. How does that tie into New Orleans?
Well, times like this, you just pray to the good Lord to get you through the next day. Because you have to do that, because let's think about this. In the last 4 years, they had the greatest natural disaster ever happen to New Orleans. Then they had the greatest, then they had the city being, because of that, the city being, and the malfeasance of the Army Corps engineers. Levees broke, 80% of the city under water, and now the greatest oil disaster in the history of the world. Mm-hmm. All this in less than 4 years. So when something like that happens, you're saying, God, why are we getting this punishment? So it makes you go back to the Bible, and try to find some answers. Why this happened? Of all the places in the United States, why is this happening to us?
Mm-hmm. There are claims more and more now that 75% of the oil from the spill is gone. I see you rolling.
Look at my face.
I see you rolling your eyes at that. Do you see any pattern in the way that the government responded post-Katrina and what we're seeing now post this oil spill?
I think there's a big difference between the Bush and Obama administrations, how this thing was handled. But for me, what we're seeing is evidence of how powerful BP is, how powerful the oil and gas industries are, because from the get-go, they've been dictating to the United States government what to do.
But look,
they said that with the Coast Guard, with the FAA, with the EPA, there's evidence that BP's been calling the shots.
When you talk about rebuilding this economy, the president talks about it every single day. He goes from town to town talking about it. This country can only be as strong as each individual economy. You look at places like Detroit, you look at New Orleans, these are broken cities.
Right.
What needs to be done to fix their economies? Because if you don't have solid footing for an economy, how can you have people prosper?
For me to answer that question, you got to get somebody else in this seat. But look, Obama has people in his administration, his cabinet, who are paid to do that. I'm not Secretary of Economy, nothing like that. But what we discussed in our house is this. Maybe a big misstep coming out the box, riding the wave of this monumental historical election. Maybe it should have been economy instead of national health care.
See,
that's money. I mean, we've got Monday Night Football, so that's Tuesday morning quarterbacking. I don't know, I'm not here. Look, All I know is, for me, traveling around the United States of America, people are hurting. People need jobs, and that's what people care about. People lost their homes, they can't pay their mortgages. People have moved back with their parents, with their grandparents. I mean, it's really, it's dire straits now.
All right, we'll see what the.
But how do we fix that? You're talking to the wrong guy.